Hello, this is Jyotika. Welcome to Excelling Psychology. This lesson is a quick addition to my previous lesson in which I have explained how to write this ERQ in detail. This is the ERQ that was asked in the May 2024 paper for the biological option. In this video, I'm just going to quickly show how the ERQ is scored. So if you want a thorough explanation of how the ERQ should be written and a discussion of the neurotransmitters ERQ, please watch the previous video. I'll link it in the description box below. Now for this ERQ, if you see in the introduction, you will notice that firstly neurotransmitters have been defined and then immediately they have been connected with an argument which is regarding whether neurotransmitters are correlated with behavior or are they the causes of behavior. This question has the discuss command term, and for the discuss command term we have to present a range of arguments. So the first argument is identified in the first paragraph itself. It is clearly stated, and without giving any irrelevant extraneous details, the answer comes down directly to the argument that is going to be discussed further. That is why on Criterion A, of course the rest of the answer will also be considered, but as of now immediately this answer scores well on Criterion A, which is focus on the question, and that is why it will fall on the 2-mark band of the first criterion. Also, definitely the other arguments are given in other sections. Like for example, the next argument is identified at the end of paragraph 3. But again, that argument is relevant to the question asked. It is about whether looking at neurotransmitters and behaviors is reductionist. Similarly, the third argument is coming at the end of the next page, where the argument is about how neurotransmitters have the potential to treat mental disorders. So just like in the first paragraph, all the 3 arguments in this answer have been relevant to the question asked. All have to do with some or the other neurotransmitter and behavior. Also, they explain the problem which is outlined in the question. That is, all the arguments are explained in detail, just like the first one. That is why this answer will score high on Criterion A. It is fully focused on the question, and each argument has not only been identified, it has also been explained. I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you want to download this answer, I'm going to link it in the description box below and in the pinned comment. So if you want to read the answer before going through this video, that will be particularly helpful. So just read the answer once, then look at this video. It will be easier for you to follow how and why it is being scored in the way it is. Also, I will try to upload soon an annotated version of this answer with my notes on how the scoring has been done on the very same web page soon. So keep checking. Soon you will find an annotated copy of the answer as well. Now in the next paragraph, if we see in this answer, one neurotransmitter has been identified which is acetylcholine, and the behavior which it affects, spatial memory retrieval, that has also been identified, and the Martinez and Kesner study which relates or demonstrates how acetylcholine plays a role in spatial memory has been described. The study has been described thoroughly. By thoroughly, I mean every detail is not given, but clearly aims, procedure, results and conclusion as relevant to the argument have been given for the study, which means that on Criterion C, which has to do with research studies to support the argument, this will score high. It will score in the 5 to 6 mark band, because firstly the study is given elaborately, it is thoroughly explained, and it is used to develop the argument, because this study is addressing the question of whether neurotransmitters cause certain behavior. It is an animal study, yet it has been in the next paragraph linked to human behavior. That is how it would apply to human behavior has also been discussed. So still it continues to be fully focused on the question. So it still meets Criterion A, At the same time, it is meeting Criterion C as well. Now, Criterion B, which is about showing relevant knowledge, for that also this answer falls in the 5 to 6 mark band, because throughout in the first 2 paragraphs we are seeing terminology has been used correctly and it has been explained. Understanding has been shown of terminology and knowledge. For example, neurotransmitters have been defined, which shows that the candidate knows what neurotransmitters are. In the same way, for the argument being made, good terminology has been used, such as causation, correlation. So psychological terms have been used as appropriate. Animal studies have been identified as such. In the description of the study also, what an antagonist is has been explained briefly, what an agonist is has been explained. Not only that, the dependent variable, independent variable of the studies are clearly identified. So knowledge and understanding are being seen throughout in the argument also and in the description of the study as well. In the next paragraph, the Martinez and Kesner study has been evaluated. So from a Criterion D point of view, we can see that it will again fall in the 5 to 6 mark band, because in terms of critical thinking, firstly, the critical thinking is well developed. Generic points have not been given for evaluation, rather every point which has been made, a strength or a weakness, has been explicitly linked to the Martinez and Kesner study. For example, what the independent variable is has been given in terms of the study. Similarly, the dependent variable also, and then it has been stated that it is a strength, that a causal relationship is clearly established. Not only that, after making the points, what the strengths are as well as what the weaknesses are, such that animal studies cannot be directly applied to humans, human brain is more complex and socio-cognitive factors also play a role in behavior. All of these points have been related back to the larger discussion argument, which is about whether neurotransmitters have only a correlational role with behavior or a causative role. So that is how critical thinking is well developed. Relevant evaluation points are identified. They have been explicitly linked to the study, and ultimately they have been linked to the argument made previously. For Criterion E, which is clarity and organization, students have a misconception that it applies only to the conclusion. It applies throughout the answer. In this answer, there is very good organization so far and in the rest of the answer. Why organization is good? Because one, every paragraph is connected with the previous. There are no random or sudden abrupt points. The answer is going in a complete flow. Every point being made is relevant to the larger argument being made, and it follows a logical sequence of first explaining the argument broadly, then using studies as examples, or as we can say narrower demonstrations of how the argument really applies to research and what implications it has to the larger theoretical context. So organization is very smooth, from identifying the argument to elaborating on it to giving a study that is relevant and then critically considering the study. Also, clarity is definitely there, because all terms, as I pointed out earlier, have been explained in a way that someone who does not even understand psychology would be able to understand this essay independently without having prior psychological knowledge. So there is clarity. Also, in terms of the discussion points being made, like studies or elaboration on the discussion, they are not straying away from the main argument that's being made. So there's no confusion in terms of what is relevant and what is not. That is why also there is clarity. Also, when an animal study has been taken, such as Martinez and Kesner, the candidate has kept in mind that it has to be linked to human behavior. So the entire focus has been on linking back to human behavior. That also shows clarity of thought and focus on the question. So again, the student will continue receiving marks on Criterion A as well, because focus continues to remain. The same scoring policy is used for the rest of the paragraph, so now I'll just go through them quickly because my intention is to be brief with this lesson. In the next paragraph, after identifying the argument of reductionism and explaining it, there is a study by Crockett et al. Which has been presented, Again, relevant details of the study in the aim, procedure, results, conclusion format have been presented, terminology has been explained, and then the study has been critically evaluated with regard to reductionism. So how it is successful in terms of bringing about a cause-effect relationship, but then how it remains restricted to the artificial environment that has been identified. So again, critical evaluation also follows the same. Good development, relevant points are made, they explicitly linked to the study, and they are linked back to the main argument. Also, now we see a broader organization in the answer such that after one argument is completed fully, then only the next argument on reductionism is made. Then when that is completed fully, then the next argument is made, which is about how neurotransmitters can be used to help treat certain disorders. So again, in the larger picture also, the answer has a clear flow. It goes argument by argument. It does not leave any argument incomplete, or it does not confuse between any arguments. That also counts a lot towards clarity and organization, which is criterion E. Also, because every argument links to the next, or it leaves a gap which the next one addresses. In that sense, also a lot of clarity in the respondent's answer is seen. So for this argument, the third one also, there is a study by Freed et al., which is described in again the same format from aims to conclusion, and the critical evaluation is inherent in it. So that also counts for good focus on the question. The answer does not stray towards unnecessary extra critical evaluation of the study, which would not be relevant to the discussion point made. Finally, there is a conclusion which just summarizes all the arguments that are made. Literally, it's just a summarization of whatever has been stated previously. So cause-effect relationship is addressed first, then reductionism, and then finally about the potential of neurotransmitters to treat certain disorders. So this summary which is there again scores high on criterion E, because it shows clarity that the respondent is able to consolidate the entire answer finally and give a final picture of what they have tried to discuss in the answer. Also, it remains focused, so it scores highly on criterion A as well. If you want to know any more details of how to write this answer, please visit the previous video. It is a long one, it is for about 1 hour, but I have gone into a lot of details and addressed a lot of frequently asked questions about answering the discuss ERQ in IBPsychology in that. If you have any comments about this video, you can leave them in the comment box below. Thank you for watching.